Welcome back to the Quick Save Podcast. My name is Alex.
I'm Josh.
And today we are talking about... Wait, hey?
Hold on, do you smell that?
Do you smell?
Is love in the air?
Whoo, Valentine's Day was just here. That's right. Well, we were a little late getting to the party, let's be honest. We were all looking out for love. Josh got someone at home. I'm someone at home.
I'm married. I hope not. We're at your home right now, and I'd be very nervous if you had someone here with us right now.
Yeah, just don't look behind that door specifically.
Perfect.
There's totally not an angel trying to hold off a demon lord.
I won't look behind there. I'm good. Thanks. I kind of got my own stuff going on, so I don't really want to get involved in some kind of like geopolitical heaven and hell fight. So
today we're talking about Galgun 2. Our Valentine's Day special episode.
The sequel to Galgun, kind of.
Well, I believe it was Galgun and Galgun Double Piece.
Yeah,
so this is technically the third in the series.
Yeah, Double Piece came out before this.
Originally released March 15th, 2018. Fairly new yet, honestly. It's 5 years old. It was developed by NT Creates, which I've never heard of before.
They did all the other ones, I think.
It's like, I think it's really what they're known for, honestly. Why don't you talk about the gameplay for us, Josh?
Galgun 2 is the horniest version of Time Crisis to ever exist. You shoot girls with your euphoria shot to fill them with ecstasy and rid them of the demons possessing their body. Mainly, though, the gameplay consists of you zooming in on schoolgirls and ogling them inappropriately.
I mean, you kind of took the wind out my sails. Like, I was excited here.
It kind of feels like I'm having to say this in court to a judge.
Well, officer, as you see the evidence presented here, you ogle schoolgirls and shoot them with your euphoria shot.
I promise when I bought the game, they told me on the box it was 18.
Look, I'm of age, officer. This is illegal. Kind of.
Don't look too deep.
Why don't you tell us about the thrilling plot here?
Oh, man, the thrilling plot.
The roller coaster of a plot here.
I want to preface, loading up this game and them explaining it to you, you just kind of have to go like, this is what's happening. I don't have a choice. Okay. You're a student who finds a new app on his phone that can't be deleted.
Persona.
I was going to say, like, I hope I wasn't the only one. I was like, man, I read that. I was like, Persona 5?
A recurring theme in Japanese media, an app you can't delete.
If we're talking about love and all things naughty, it's also a gimmick in the adult version of anime. Don't ask me how I know that. You find this app on your phone. It can't be deleted. Opening the app spawns the pheromone goggles and a weird-looking gun that was presented in front of you.
If somebody handed you pheromone goggles, what would your first instinct be? My first instinct would be like, I'm going to throw these in the trash and call the police because I'm not putting anything on my face called a pheromone goggle.
To be fair, you don't know that they're called the pheromone goggles until an angel appears in front of you. Let's talk about that. You, after putting the goggles on, because, that'd be my choice. I put them on, right? You open an app, goggles appear in front of you. Man, I am ready to be isekai'd somewhere nice.
Look, I would probably put them on, too.
So you put them on, and an angel shows up and tells you that you are now a demon hunter. Supernatural title begins, music starts.
Yeah, she's like,
you won a contest to become a demon hunter.
And you're like, I didn't enter a contest. She's like,
anyways, let's get started.
You have to go and shoot the possessed girls in your school with your gun, the euphoria shot.
It looks like a hairdryer.
And the demon suctioning gun, the demon sweeper.
For a game that is very explicitly like ogle hot ladies, weapons could have been named something way worse. So
I like the idea of like pheromones, euphoria. It's tastefully explicit, if that makes sense.
I don't know if I go that far. I'm just happy it wasn't called, like, shoot your load on these, like...
I'm telling you, right? It's tastefully explicit. It's not shoot your load on these.
It could have been worse.
In 20 days, the demons will take over, so you need to fight them all off. Also, there's a whole romance subplot.
Yeah, there's, like, some...
different characters.
There's visual novel elements, for sure, where you get to choose who you want to be with.
I want to say, from what I've heard about the game, compared to actually playing it, it's much more tame than what people make it out to be.
I could list a lot of games that are way worse than this is, for sure.
Playing through it, you're like, oh, this is kind of fun and stuff. And then, like, they throw a little bit too much of, like,
Look at the girls.
you're like, I'm okay. Like, this is fun as is. Like,
Yep.
you know, fighting the demons, sucking them out. I think you get more points when you suck them up with the demon sweeper.
Yeah, it didn't mention this in the gameplay. There's like a point system, so it is like you can go for the high score or whatever, right? They kind of throw that in there.
As you play through, you progress either with romances. The interesting thing is this is the first one in the series to make romance an option. You don't have to do it to win anymore. You don't. You can just play through.
That's right. Try hard. Speedrunners are thrilled. I don't have to date anyone.
Yeah,
I can just fight the demons and
any
win.
percent no romance and any percent romance.
There you go.
This came out on the Switch and the PS4. It's the only two consoles it came out on.
Kind of the only two consoles they allow stuff like this on anymore.
Basically, to be honest, this is probably like one of the last games for the PS4 in this like genre, because Sony decided that they didn't want to host things like this anymore, and Nintendo decided to open their doors fully.
To all you freaks out there, the Nintendo Switch is your console.
It's like they switched personalities at one point.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to grab it on the Switch, I feel like this is like honestly reasonable for how like crazy this game is, and I don't see it often either. Loose, you're gonna pay $21.92. Complete $29.92. $8 difference. You know, you could round it up to $22 or $30. If you want it on the PS4, you're looking at $21.41 loose, or complete $24.62. So $22 or like $25. The one that we played on my Switch. Switch is kind of nifty, and I think the reason it costs a bit more is that if you have it in handheld mode, like when you move the Switch, it moves the camera as well.
It's like gyroscopic aiming.
Yeah, it's kind of nifty.
Cool.
Every time I do that, a lot of people are like, oh, in VR, that gives me like sickness and stuff, like
Yep.
motion sickness. Doing that, like outside of VR, even for me, sometimes it feels really disorienting.
Well, it's weird. Imagine you were holding a little window in front of you and you had to look through the window while you moved. Yeah, like kind of weird, right?
Look, I feel like me and Josh are going to disagree a little here. I may have or may not have been critiquing his, what he wrote.
You've written like a point counterpoint.
I may
or
may not have chosen to be obstinate in his face.
Do you want me to go first then?
Sure. Why don't you go first?
Well, forgive me if I sound like the Quaker Oats spokesman here, but masturbation's bad. No. Honestly, this game is quaint. I think it's cute. But it is just a less exciting version of like something like Time Crisis or House of the Dead, stuff like that, like on-rails shooters. And I understand that's only half of the concept. Half of the concept is like shooting. The other half is look at hot ladies, romance, subplot, stuff like that. Like, if you want to play a visual novel, you can just go play a visual novel. If you want to go play Time Crisis, you can just go play Time Crisis. Not everything has to be... Just be the one thing. Doesn't always have to be both things. Like, I love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Not everything can be a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
It's a really good analogy.
But yeah, my thought on this is just like... And this is kind of just how like a lot of games in this genre are. It's a lot of work for minimal reward. It's not like you get to see smoking hot babes at the end or whatever, right? It's like cutesy, whatever. There's like swimsuit pics and stuff like that, whatever, when you do the romance subplot. But just like, if you wanted to look at cute pictures of anime girls in bikinis, Google Images is a thing that exists, you know?
Careful, that's a rabbit hole many people don't need to fall down.
I know. I'm just saying, if you're interested in this kind of thing, there are easier ways to gain access to it.
So, for a NSFW game, it's honestly pretty tame.
Not safe for work, for those of you who don't know how acronyms work.
Lots of love confessions, swimsuits, and panty shots. Overall, it's a rail shooter. It's honestly just a ton of fun still. You can look past or even look at all the sexiness. This really is a fun game at its core. I enjoy playing it in short terms.
This is not something you do like an 8-hour long play of.
No.
Right? You know, you play it. The thing I watched when I was watching a lot of gameplay of this, there's a run online, some dude beat it in just like 55 minutes. It was just like, and he was still kind of messing around and stuff, but he was just like, do the mission, romance one person, done. And he beat it in less than an hour. So, I mean, you really could just like do this quick and play it and beat it and be done. Might be something if you have the option to like rent it or try it before you buy it. Something like that might be nice because it really seems like it is not a long game if you wanted to do like a full run.
Be like Josh. Have a friend like me that's willing to like go and buy these things, and then you can just come over and play them.
This is also one of those games that has like a bad ending to the story. We'll talk about it a little bit later. It's not like the bad ending is like, everybody dies, right? You know, it's nothing like that.
Yeah,
But
they didn't pull a fast one on us.
yeah, but it's just like games with bad endings always make me nervous. Like Persona 5, right? They're like, you have to do all the social stuff and you only have so much time to do the social stuff, so you really have to pick and choose on the and it's stuff like that. It makes me really nervous because I'm like, well, what's the optimal way for me to do this? You know, I don't want to screw it up and then I have to replay the entire 400-hour RPG just so I can romance the person I want to romance or something, right? You know? And like I just mentioned, this game isn't that long, so it's probably like just start over. It's not too bad, but
Once you get used to how the gun works, it goes fast.
I just imagine if you played this game for like 3-4 hours and you're like, finally I beat it, and then they're like, yeah, you didn't do good enough and now you get the bad ending or something. It's like, now I gotta play the whole damn thing again to even like try to get the good ending or whatever, if I even care about the multiple endings. Like, rough.
So for me, the optional storylines that can happen depending on how well you do, or how well you shoot, I should say, they give the game a depth that it definitely needs. And even when I say depth, I'm talking like shallow end depth. There's not a whole lot. I believe there's 3 characters you can romance. Of the 3, there's only one that I thought would like make a decent ending. I won't say which because you should go and like play through and look at all the endings. It desperately needs it because otherwise there really isn't much of a play or even a replay value without them. So like having the option to fail gives it a better chance at replay than just having a linear story from A to B.
And that's good. It is nice to have that option, right? To have options where it's like, all right, if you do want to just keep playing this, it's not like play it once and you're done. You can replay it. There is replayability in that aspect, which is good. My thought is, you know, I don't want to come off like a prude, right? Everybody's going to be like, Josh hates porn games. Sure. My favorite NSFW game is probably, I don't think it'd be pretty hard to top this in my opinion. Probably Senran Kagura Peach Ball, which is sexy pinball. I don't know. How does it get better than that? I think the endless replayability of pinball tables and something like Hot Ladies, right? If you want the game to be like, stare at the hot lady forever, how do you do it better than like making it like a skill-based game that's also just like endlessly replayable? They make stuff like sexy darts or whatever, right? Where it's like, okay, well, you have to be good at the game to get the reward of seeing the hot lady. And I think that speaks more to my sensibilities of be good at a thing and then get rewarded for it, and not just play this thing that's like fun and not difficult and you kind of get rewarded.
I mean, if you bring up Senran Kagura, like it was a hard choice to almost beat it. Like, I agree. Senran Kagura, like you pick any of the Senran Kagura games, they are good, and like they're good at like being that sexy game that actually holds like a value to it. While I do agree there are better not safe for work games out there, I still do enjoy playing through the game. It's dumb, fun, and full of some interesting gimmicks. It's always funny to point out in my collection because like how absurd it is, and like explaining it to like people.
Yeah, so you shoot schoolgirls with your euphoria shot.
The premise of it all is light-hearted enough that everyone still gets a giggle out of it. Like no one's like offended that.
Yeah, nobody's like, you should not own this. That's not okay for you to own.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, that's kind of funny, and not like, you know, it's nice that it's a Switch game because it's like literally pop the cartridge in, like show people like, oh, this is what it is, and they're like, oh, that's it, and I'm like,
Correct.
that's it,
Correct.
It's not horrible. So while we talk about some fun facts, Josh, why don't you lead us off here?
I would love to. So the only love interests that are tied to endings are the ones tied to non-human girls.
All right, so remember how I was talking about there's 3 love interests? First off, there's the angel, Riza, or Rissa. I don't know how they want it pronounced. Then there is your classmate. Oh, I'm sorry, there's 4. You got your classmate, your next door neighbor, your childhood friend, essentially, and the bad guy,
the demon lord,
the demon lord. You can romance the demon lord. What?
thrall to the demon lord husband.
Thrall to the demon lord. So yeah, there's 4. I'm sorry, misspoke there. There's 4. You got the angel, the demon, and the 2 humans.
Yeah, the childhood friend, and what was the other one?
The classmate.
Classmate. Yes, who eats all your food.
Yeah, Josh came over and I was like, "You should play this for a while, get a sense of what it is." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, feed the hungry bitch in the classroom." And you're like, "What?" I was like, "Here."
She wants food.
Like you just keep giving her snacks. She's like, "Oh, that was really good." And like literally 3 seconds later, she's like, "I'm kind of hungry." And I'm like, "I just fed you."
Let's talk about the free hugs edition, huh? So there is a special edition of this game, as honestly as there usually is. Like games like of this caliber in this genre usually get some kind of. I just picked up recently the Senran Kagura burst renewal, like bursting at the seams edition, right? And so they always have some kind of like sexual innuendo special edition. But so this free hugs edition for Galgun 2 comes in it's got a big collector's box. There's an art book. There's a soundtrack. There's a pin set of each of the like romance options or whatever.
There's a plush of Mr. Happiness,
Who's
which
like
is not what you think it is. He is a little pink angel dude.
He kind of looks like a slime. Yeah, he's like a pink little slime dude.
If you suck him up, he like adds like energy points and heals you.
Yep. And then there is a double-sided quote gaming accessories pouch. And there's images of Risa, and one she's like lying on a bed. And then the opposite, she is like in a bikini and like a bra and panties. And it's totally not a body pillow. We promise. We promise. Promise.
Totally
promise. It's not a body pillow. I don't think it's big enough. They definitely made it seem small. But like it looks like a body pillow cover. That's definitely the joke, right?
Next time on the next Valentine's Day special, it's gonna be me, Josh, in my anime body pillow.
Oh no. I'm getting replaced. Let's talk about our favorites and least favorites, what we absolutely loved about this game.
Things I liked. Cute girls who want to confess to me. Things I disliked. Demons trying to take over the world. Nah, in all seriousness, I enjoyed the arcade feel that this game brought. I definitely did not expect that. It's very much like, for those who are old enough to remember going into an arcade and being able to like walk up to House of the Dead 2,
Yep.
put your quarters in, just start shooting,
Time
going
Crisis
along the rail.
3,
Time Crisis.
Area 51, stuff like that, right?
It just is reminiscent of that in like the most peculiar way. Like it's definitely not something I thought I would get out of it.
That's honestly something I think this game could do well with, and it seems silly, but like would be an arcade cabinet. I feel like if you put this in like a bar, I feel like you'd have a surprising amount of people, drunk people who are like, I'm about to ogle the hot ladies, ha ha ha. Just like, I think this would do really well as like an arcade cabinet in like adult bars and stuff like that.
Yeah, you just you would have to almost make it like a Time Crisis type of cabinet, because like the foot pedal would be the demon vacuum.
Yep.
But the one thing that I didn't like, and it may sound weird kind of talking about this, is that there's points in the game where they're like, panty shot, look at the panties. I'm like, I don't need to. Thanks, but no thanks. Like, it's just too much at one point. If it's like here, maybe there, it's like, it happened.
It's a little too fan servicey for your liking.
Yeah, it's a little too fan servicey for me. For Josh, that sounds like craziness. Like, what do you mean?
That's why my thought. I was like, whoa, the porn game guy is like, whoa, too much panty shot. Yikes.
Yeah, I'm totally the porn game guy, looks back at Galgun 2 going, porn game. It does get to be a bit much, because like it's just like unnecessary in some circumstances.
It goes from being tasteful to untasteful.
Yeah, and it happens pretty quick, honestly. But what about for you, sir? What were your favorites and least favorites? Just gonna tear this new one apart, huh?
Yeah, I hate this game and I want to destroy all copies.
I mean, you said Halo sucks, so
Any other hot gaming opinions on that side of the table? No, I actually do like the gameplay. I think it is very cute and unique, and it's funny, this juxtaposition of romance visual novel with first-person shooter is very funny, because it's like, normally you think of like zombies or aliens coming to kill you, and in this one, it is just like a schoolgirl, and she's like giving you a letter, being like, I'm in love with you, and you're like, die! God! Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah,
Shooting your like
it's really
bullets.
funny because like I don't think we mentioned it. If you don't shoot the girls, them confessing to you or
Yeah.
yelling "I love you" damages you.
It deals damage to you.
You're just like trying to be alone in life, and they won't let you.
No more, please. Honestly, kind of for the same reason, that's my least favorite thing, is how niche the concept is. I think it's great that something like this exists, but it just feels like the amount of people who would like a game like this seems really small, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm already kind of wrong. They made 3 of these games, right? So it's like, obviously there is a market for stuff like this. That being said, like a niche collector's market.
I am that niche market.
I know. I made a Venn diagram with my hands earlier, and I said, yeah, this little crossover selection, that's you. You're in this, and I think probably not many other people. But it's fun, it's cutesy, it's quaint, it's niche, and that's what I like about it, and that's what I don't like about it. I wish this had, in some way,
broader reach.
in some ways, I just kind of wish it was like a visual novel, and there was like a mini game where you played a couple levels, and it was like, I mainly want it to be one thing or the other thing. I don't like that it is just weirdly both of these things. And again, obviously that's the draw. There's games like Peach Ball, right, where it's like, it's pinball and sexy ladies. Super weird combination, right? But it kind of works, So there definitely is a market for stuff like this. I don't hate it. I just think it could be a little more. Alex, why don't you tell us why it deserves to be in the backlog?
All right, reasons why it deserves to be on the backlog. Let me tell you this. This is a game that, while it is funny, it doesn't add anything to the backlog. Yes, I was defending it this whole time, but now I've turned.
It was me, Austin. It was me all along.
However, though, it does bring a smile to those that have their minds in the gutter and a lack of morals and values. We add this to the backlog like we added Shaq Fu, with the hopes that you choose to play this in short bursts and only for a laugh. It's not a game that's going to corrupt you. It's not a game that people are going to try to put you on a stake for. You're not going to get canceled because you played Galgun 2. You just might get some interesting looks from some uninterested people.
There you go. That's Galgun. I wanted to add a little mini news segment here at the end. This is completely unrelated to Galgun 2. Have you ever heard of this game called Forspoken? Came out like today.
Yeah, we talked about it.
A long time ago when it was like announced or something like that.
Yeah, you're like, I don't even know what this is. I don't care.
Well, I care now because it's bad. It sucks really bad. I got a friend who's playing right now, and he's like, I think it's like the controls are fine, whatever. He's like, I don't know what people are complaining about. Do you want to know what people are complaining about? So here's the plot of the game. A girl from our time, I'm sure we goofed on this when the game came out too. It's like somebody from our modern day and age goes to Elden Ring Fantasy Zone and becomes like a wizard.
The previews looked interesting enough that I was kind of taking a look at it, and then I forgot about it.
Do you want to hear what the dialogue's going to be like?
Is it just silent?
No, she's gonna show up. She's gonna get fantasy powers, and she shoots like lightning from her hands. And she goes, guys, that just happened. And she's gonna have like, she's gonna like fly through the air with some spell or something. She's gonna be like, whoa, guys, I'm awesome now. And she's
like 16 and just got these powers and now thinks she's the coolest on the block.
No. The issue is she says like cringe dialogue.
That's what I'm saying.
She's like, that just happened.
Is that like the only reason it's bad?
No, I think people don't like it. I think people don't like it because of like the controls. I hear it runs poorly on PC. Let me try and find some of this dialogue. I just hear it's like laughably dumb. It looks not good. It looks like a PS3 game.
Did I just do that?
Well, definitely with my assistance.
that was just really in the game. Did I just do that?
I did not just do that.
We did.
I just move shit with my mind.
Perhaps our connection has somehow awoken some abilities.
I just moved shit with my mind.
I just keep hearing I.
I just move shit with my freaking mind!
Welcome to South Harmon Institute Technology.
The best part is she said shit, right? She kept saying, like, I just move shit with my mind.
Yeah.
But then she went, I just move shit with my freaking mind. It's like, you could have said fuck. I don't know. You already said shit. I don't know, man.
If you're lonely, go play Forspoken, I guess.
I don't know. It could be fun as like a trash play. I don't think we'd be like, wow, this rules. I think there might be fun to be had in being like, wow, this sucks really bad.
Just a hate play of it.
We'll keep an eye on it. And this is a in development Forspoken review. I'm just gonna put 10 minutes in after every episode, like 5 minutes of Forspoken, and then eventually we can splice it all together as a full Forspoken review ep.
All right. Well, I hope that your Valentine's Day was wonderful or magical or you spent it well together by yourself.
I hope you could move shit with your freaking mind.
I hope that you choose not to shoot people with a gun that just call it a euphoria shot
The demon sweeper.
or a demon sweeper, or hopefully you don't put on euphoria goggles. That sounds unhealthy.
There are plenty of romantic games you could play. It Takes Two is a game about people falling back in love and also murdering every single household object they have in their home.
There's a website for when you're lonely.
Excuse me?
What?
This guy is telling you to look up pornographic websites.
I said no such thing.
I'm just saying that I'm sure we should come up with some romantic games to play.
Romantic games?
Chess? How romantic. Knight to E4. Ooh la la. Things are really heating up, man.
I'm moving my queen, but you're my king.
Oh my goodness. Like fun multiplayer games, stuff like that, Sackboy. Sackboy's always something I want to play with Rachel because there's like co-op platforming.
I'm like I can name all sorts of like romance games, but they're not the romance games that you're wanting.
Army of Two.
I mean, sure, yeah.
I said, all right, we're done. Just turn the podcast off, man. I'm going to delete this bit from the show.
Army of Two, the most romantic thing I've heard.
It's something you can play with your significant other, dude. I threw out 3 games. You gave me Jack, man. You didn't name one.
Look, you can play Halo with your significant other. You can play Call of Duty.
You're making a fake. These are valid options. These are not ridiculous options. People do this. People play these with their significant others.
Look, if you want
They're
to
not
play
romantic games, but they're
if
they're
you want
games
to play
can
co-op
together.
games, some old school ones that are really good. is like
Ratatouille on the
Ratchet and Clank
PS2.
Deadlock.
Is there co-op in
Yeah,
Deadlock?
there's co-op.
News to me. Wii Sports, bowling.
Legitimately not a bad idea.
Yep. Tons of Wii games, Wii party games.
Oh, playing. How about some Smash? Play Smash.
How about Final Fantasy Triple Triad card game? Or no, what's the Final Fantasy X Blitzball?
I have no idea. Probably.
I think Blitzball was like the volleyball game in 10 or whatever.
All right, Josh found a list for us because I was making this a bit that was a bit within itself, and Josh
Double
was getting
bit.
upset.
Double bit. It became a bit, and then it became not a bit, and then it was a bit again.
So, Josh, you found the list. Let's hear what's on this list.
Number 1 on the list. Now, I'm not going to just say I agree with all of these, but we can at least talk about it. Number 1 on the list, Dead by Daylight.
Never played it, so I don't know.
Not really. I don't know. I could see it. Multiplayer.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Right. Kind of feel that. It Takes Two.
Good
Yeah.
option.
I saw a different list that mentioned A Way Out, made by the same devs, couch co-op.
Yep.
You quite literally cannot play it with one person. Human Fall Flat, I think, is a super fun
Oh, yeah. That's
puzzle
a good one.
solving, like goofy ragdoll game. Kind of like not super intensive. It's like if you fail, you just like keep going. There's no time limit or anything on the puzzles. Gang Beasts, which is like competitive Human Fall Flat. It's
Yeah.
like ragdoll dudes. I don't know if I would consider that like if
I
you're
think
gonna
if it's competitive, it's not as, like, togetherness.
I think you should play something like Smash or something like that if you wanted to go that route. Sea of Thieves, I kind of like that. Like something like that reminds me in some ways of like Destiny 2 or something like that, where it's like being on a team and like your team going out and doing stuff. I feel like I could see that being like decently romantic, completing objectives and goals together. Overcooked.
Yep,
I
that'd be
played
really
that
good.
game. That game is not a romantic game. That game is a like. You look at your wife or something, you're like, why? You have to chop the onions. I need the onions. We have to wash the dishes after. It's fun, but it can be really stressful, especially in some of the later levels. Mario Kart, solid
Yeah,
option.
solid option.
Borderlands 2, personal favorite of mine. Another really good option. It's like a very long game if you want it to be, if you do all the DLC and stuff.
We did mention Wii Sports as well. That is also another great option to play with people.
I'm seeing like some horror stuff, like the Dark Pictures anthology, Until Dawn, stuff like that. I think is a pretty good option. Portal 2, that could be another one. Your mileage,
That'd be good.
Your mileage may vary depending on how much your significant other loves puzzles.
I feel like puzzle games that have multiplayer are just good for people that like puzzles.
Unravel 2, pretty good. You can get Yarny. Left 4 Dead 2, I would say no. That game's stressful, man. Depends on the level.
Maybe.
Some of those levels are tough. Little Big Planet games.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I had mentioned Sackboy earlier, too, the platformer based on it. Resident Evil 5. Yeah, dude, I'm playing as Chris Redfield. How romantic. He's going to punch the boulder. He punches the boulder in that one.
Okay.
Dude, World of Warcraft, let's go.
Real talk. One of my friends that I got to know from work, he met his girlfriend through World of Warcraft, and
You know what that means.
she at the time lived 8 states away.
Look, man, you know what that means.
So she upends her life because like she's just doing nothing in her state and moves to the middle of nowhere with him in like the Midwest. And now they live together and they're just like happy as can be. So WoW does produce love stories.
WoW isn't just for cybering. WoW is also for finding your true soulmate. You heard it here first. Diablo 3? I don't know, man.
So look, I know this friend from
Some of these are like Don't Starve Together. I'm like, sure, multiplayer survival, like similar as like Minecraft or Terraria, something like that. I see that being popular, but
like if you're gonna put
Diablo
Don't Starve
3.
together, like you could put like How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse as well. It's an old indie game.
Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. You ever seen this game? It's like the bomb defusal game.
Oh yeah,
I think that'd be super
that one
fun.
actually is really
I
good.
do really like that game. The Lego games, yeah, I think those are really solid options, especially if you have like a significant other who's not really into video games.
Yeah.
Super low point of entry. You don't need to know. They'll teach you everything you need to know.
Or like maybe it's just their favorite franchise, and that's a good way to like involve
Yeah,
your
there's-
hobby with
like,
theirs.
There's a Lord of the Rings. There's a Hobbit. There's a Batman. There's a Marvel. You name it. man.
Indiana Jones.
There's more Lego Movie. Stardew Valley.
Good
I think that's-
farming simulator to
it's
get
kind of
together
their
with.
number one on the list. I think was Stardew.
Honestly, Stardew Valley, yeah, but you could also do Harvest Moon. I'm a big fan
Is there
of old
multiplayer
Harvest.
Harvest Moons?
I don't think there is, but like
But
you
Stardew
could.
has multiplayer.
Really? Oh yeah, it does.
They added an update. You can do multiplayer in Stardew now. So
You know, if you're able to like get Harvest Moon, I feel like you would have another console for Harvest Moon just because of like how retro it is at times.
yeah.
But like you guys could like farm together essentially in that.
Yeah.
Just get Farming Simulator, multiplayer Farming Simulator.
Let's go. You can take a ride on my big green tractor. We can go slow or maybe
go faster.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Ugh.
It really turns her
You ever see those
on.
memes where it's like girls when they find out how much a combine costs compared to a BMW?
No, I've not.
Hold on.
I've seen like the country girls make do memes, but I've not seen that when a girl finds out how much a combine harvester costs. There's a bunch of hot women on like the tire of a tractor, and it says they just found out a tractor costs more than a BMW. It's like like 6 ladies on the tractor.
But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. We've had some laughs, we've had some cringes, we've had some feelings all over. Hopefully they're all very appropriate and innocent.
Yeah. Hopefully everybody had a good Valentine's Day. Don't listen to this on or near Valentine's Day, just in case. Give this one a little time to simmer. I think we kind of fucked it up a little bit. That's okay. We got there.
We got it there in the end.
Country girls make do. It'll be fine. But if you have any romantic video game ideas, please let us know in the comments.
Galgun double piece.
Galgun double piece. Goblin Commander.
Goblin Commander,
It's
yeah.
a very romantic game in some ways.
EJ Club World.
Now that's a romantic game. Yeah, dude. Go out with your significant other and make some fucking music on a PS2 console. You'd be surprised.
Bro, when's Sexy Lady gonna drop their next single?
The bonding you can have over putting samples together on a PS2 sample producer.
I just want to point out, I brought 3 guys together in one room for like over 3 hours. It can bring 2 people together for longer.
Well, that's going to be it for us tonight. Thank you so much, and have a good night. I've been Josh.
I'm Alex.
Good night, romantic gamers.
Oh, hold on.
Yep.
Here comes the dog.
No worries.
Oh, no.
What are you doing, crazy? What are you doing, crazy?
Stop.
I think Bessie's going
Down.
to tell us why it deserves to be in the backlog.
I know, right?